My brother had gone mountain climbing with his friends. He said he'd definitely be home by late afternoon, but night had already fallen, and there was no answer when I tried his phone. My mother kept muttering in the kitchen, her voice rising each time. Something happened. Something terrible has happened. Just then our dog, Carabas, started barking outside. I've never heard him bark like that before. Usually he woofs once and wags his tail at anyone coming home. This time, it was pure panic mixed with rage. It sounded like the dog standing guard over its den, confronting a predator instead of a person. Snatching up my flashlight, I sprinted outside. The rain had just stopped, leaving thick mud knee-deep in the garden, and the air was freezing. I swept the beam across the yard and saw him. It was my brother, or something wearing my brother's skin. His clothes were soaking wet, his jacket torn, one shoe missing. His hair was matted to his skull with mud and dirt, transforming his face into something unrecognizable. But the worst part were his eyes. They didn't squint against the flashlight beam, they just stared back, wide and blank. Carabas lunged against his chain, teeth bared, snarling. Then, suddenly, he fell silent, backing away slowly, acting like he recognized something terribly wrong with the thing standing there. I called out. My voice trembled. He gave no answer. I pushed the door open. An odor of dank earth, not fresh rain, flooded the porch. My brother stepped inside without speaking, without looking around. He walked straight down the hallway toward his room. His footsteps sounded strange, too wet, like he was treading through heavy leaves rather than walking on wood. Mom and Dad stood frozen in the doorway. Mom reached out, whispering, "Son." My brother didn't even acknowledge her. He opened his bedroom door, stepped inside, and left it slightly ajar. Silence filled the hallway, heavy. Through the quiet, I could hear the distinct sound of water dripping from his clothes onto the parquet floor. Asterisk tick, tick. Dad answered, saying cautiously, "Yes." "Who is this?" A few seconds later, the blood drained from his face. His hand holding the phone shook violently. How is that possible?" he whispered. "Are you sure?" It was the police. A service bus carrying passengers had plunged off a cliff nearby. No one survived. They told him the names on the manifest included my brother. They'd even found a wallet matching his description. Dad hung up. The house felt instantly colder, as if the temperature dropped 10 degrees. Mom let out a strangled cry and rushed toward my brother's room. I followed close behind. The door was still cracked open. Inside was pitch black. I turned on the flashlight. The room was empty. The bed was neatly made. The window was closed tight. The closet doors were shut. Yet, on the floor, muddy footprints led from the doorway to the bed, and then, instead of stopping, they continued upward along the wall, climbing the wall. As I raised the light higher, near the ceiling, I saw a wet handprint. The fingers looked elongated, distorted. Mud was caked beneath the fingernails. Right next to it was a round, pale smudge, shaped exactly like a human ear pressed tightly against the plaster. In the hallway behind us, Carabas began to whimper, a low, terrified sound. The dog would move closer to the door. His tail was tucked between his legs, eyes fixed intently on the darkness inside the room. From the shadows within the room, I heard a very faint sound. It wasn't breathing. It was a damp whisper, a voice trying to mimic my brother's tone, learning the words like a puzzle piece being fitted together. The door was already open, but the whisper wasn't asking for the door to be opened. It was calling us.